I'm currently in a region of France called Cantal, and I thought it was a good opportunity to answer all the questions I got on Facebook and Instagram when I told you that I was going to record a Q&A video. So it took some time and I am sorry for that, but now here it is and I'm going to answer all the questions. Let's get started. First question is, how did you discover the hurdy-gurdy? Well, it was back in 2008 and I was watching a music video of Helvetii for the first time. It was the music video of Fire, Wind and Wisdom, and I saw Anna Murphy playing some hurdy-gurdy, and I think it was the very first time I was seeing and watching her hurdy-gurdy, and I was completely blown away and I was like, what the fuck is that? I never saw anything like this. And that was the very first time, so it was now 13 years ago. That was the first time that I was seeing a hurdy-gurdy, and I had no idea before that this kind of instrument could just even exist. And after that, for several years, I saw more and more gurdies at some festivals, on some music videos, etc. And I would say in 2011 or 12 maybe, I started thinking that if I had the opportunity to learn and to play the hurdy-gurdy one day, I would do so, and that's what happened. Question number 2, what was the first song that you learned on the hurdy-gurdy? I think, if I remember well, that was a French Putain de vent. If I remember well, I think it was a French tune called Canon de Thalys, and that's a beautiful and slow tune that is quite easy to learn. That's why we started from there, and here is an extract. Question number 3. Do you have a dream instrument that you would like to play, or do you already play it? Well, the hurdy-gurdy was a dream instrument that I wanted to play for several years when I started. So yeah, it was a dream instrument. The harp was also an instrument that I wanted to try and to play, and I am playing it. And the next one on the list is probably the nuclearharpa, and I would like to try it. I hadn't any opportunity so far, but I would like to try it, and if I like it, I will probably save up to buy one. How did you learn to play the gurdy? When did you start, and whence do your pagan's influence come? I started learning the hurdy-gurdy with a teacher in 2015, October 2015. I have the chance to have a gurdy teacher in the town where I live, and when I started playing the hurdy-gurdy, I also started listening to bands with a lot of traditional and medieval instruments like faun, vadkauwels, kesair, etc. And that was the first time that I was really hearing folk music. So that's quite recent, actually. I think it's like 6 years that I listened to some pagan folk music. But when I started listening to bands like that, it was the first time that I was really feeling that's the music that I wanted to. Question number 5. How long did you need to play fluently? I would say it took around 2 or 3 weeks maybe. Many people think that the hurdy-gurdy is a difficult instrument, and I would say it depends. It depends on which part of the instrument you want to learn, you want to play, and you want to use actually. If you want to play the melody part, I mean with the chanters, I would say It can take between 2 to 4 weeks to get used to the circle movement of the right hand and the movement of the fingers of the left hand on the keys. That's not the most difficult. I think, it took me 2-3 weeks approximately. Question number 6. What are your favorite artists and what are you listening to these days? My favorite band is Nightwish. I am a big fan of symphonic metal and gothic metal music. I also like pretty much all kind of metal at different levels, and I'm also a big fan of some metalcore bands like the Agonists, for example. But I can listen to almost any bands as long as the melody is nice. What makes me like a band or not is the sense of the melody. I'm also a big fan of pagan folk music, obviously, and my favorite pagan folk band is Faun, but I also like many other bands like Valkautskäse, already talked about that, and other folk music bands like Paralysis, La Mesnine et le Quin, many bands. What are you listening to these days? Recently, I found out about a band on YouTube which is metalcore and post-hardcore music mixed with some touches of violin. It's a Swedish band called Imminence, and that's very, very nice, and I will put some extract right now. Question number 8. Does living in nature impact your life, your inspiration, and your music? Well, obviously. I really like hiking, and I really like being in the forest and having a walk or something, and it impacts my life a lot. The older I grow and the more important nature in my life becomes. I really like to be in nature, to be surrounded by trees, and I'm not kind of a city guy, definitely. My dream is to find a place to live with my girlfriend in a forest without any neighbors, just being in the middle of nature. I don't believe in any kind of deity. I don't believe in God. I don't have faith. I don't believe in karma or anything. But if by deity you think about the God that you can read about in the First Testament, for example, I don't believe in that. But if by deity you mean a stronger force that is far above you, and that will always be stronger than you, and that will always survive after everything you can do, then nature is my deity. I think nature is stronger than us anyway, and we can do anything. We are completely destroying the planet, and I deeply believe that mankind can't survive the crisis that we are triggering right now, but nature will survive that, and without us. So in that way, nature is my God, I would say that. So of course it impacts a lot my life, but also my inspiration. I mean, my first album, Leaves Are Falling, was a lot about ecology, and there is a reason about that, and this reason is the impact and the importance of nature in my life. I mean, I am also vegetarian, and that's for the same reasons. So it impacts a lot my life, and by impacting my life, it also impacts my inspiration and therefore my music, of course. Number 7. Do you live near a forest and do you have a favorite secret forest hideout? I was living in a forest, but I moved out a few weeks ago. But we are not very far from the forest. I think it's like 5 minutes by car, or maybe 7 or 8 minutes by bicycle, so that's pretty much okay. But I really liked the flat that I had before, because the forest was literally 30 meters away from my door. During the first lockdown, I was always going to the forest. That was very nice to be able to be among the trees and to breathe and to be outside. And there was a very small dam between the forest and my door, with the water and some kind of, I don't know, a small waterfall or something. But maybe if you are following me on Instagram, you already saw that. This. And that was my secret hideout, because only a few people know that place. And this is a place that you can't go without trespassing the place where I lived before, and that was a private property. So that was my secret place. Number 9. How do you feel about your first album and how does it impact your life? I am very proud of this first album, even if after listening to it again and again, there are some things that I would have done differently. And probably some tracks that I wouldn't put in, but I'm still very proud of it, and very proud to be almost alone and to play the instrument almost alone and to mix it alone. That was a lot of work, but I'm very proud how it turned out, and it sounds like how I wanted it to sound, so really happy and proud about it. And how does it impact my life? Well, it gave me more self-confidence, and I feel like I have more credibility and more legitimacy to have a Facebook page and to have a YouTube channel and to have an Instagram and a Patreon account, because it feels like, okay, now I can give and share things with people. Question number 10. What's the story behind the album? Some anecdotes about it, and what are your plans for the future? My album is not a concept album, so it's not a full story on 15 tracks, but it's a lot about ecology and a lot about some old traditions and old deities and gods and things like that. Some songs are also just stories, but I mean some standalone stories, like Au fond des brumes. It's more like when I have a story to tell, I do it with music. But about my next plans, actually I'm working on EP, and it's kind of the same process. If I have a story to tell, I tell it with music and instruments, but there's a bit more than before of personal feelings that are translated into music. Question number 11. Did I see a zucchini in your raclette? Is it good? I'm not even sure if it's zucchini, I don't know. So if you don't know, raclette is a traditional French meal with basically melted cheese on top of kind of anything you want, most of the time potatoes. About whether it's good or not, that's okay. Number 12. What's your favorite sport to watch or... Okay. What's your favorite sport to watch or practice? I'm not very fond of sport. I mean, when I was in elementary school, I was always among the last ones to be picked up to make a team with, for example. Well, I don't watch any sport on TV. It really doesn't interest me. I practice just a bit, I try to go swimming at least once a week just to stay healthy. And sometimes I go climbing, and I will start archery in a few weeks probably. Question number 13. When will we busk and eat curry again? Anytime you want, my friend. Question number 14. The longest time playing a melodica with nose is, as far as internet told me, owned by an Indian with 30 minutes, 22 seconds. Do you think you can beat that?
What the fuck? I'm not sure if it's ridiculous or complete genius.
I don't have a melodica, unfortunately, but I have a nose flute. So, challenge accepted. Question number 15. What do you think of Amazon Music? I know you're not fond of Amazon, so I'm interested in the answer. I don't really like the digital music platform like Amazon Music, Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer for several reasons. First, it's killing the physical format, and when artists and musicians are trying hard to make a beautiful physical format with a beautiful booklet, etc., it's a bit bitter to understand that people don't really want to see that. You are putting a lot of efforts into the physical format, but yeah, you don't have the possibility to show that to people. And I don't like that. That's why I support the physical format. The second point is it's paying very badly the musicians. You have to stream an incredible amount of times your music just to earn a bit from that. And it's really squeezing and milking musicians. And it's just, these companies are just earning money on the work of other people who are really badly paid for that. So that's the music industry at its highest, at its most despicable level, I think. But the thing is that now a lot of people are listening to music on this platform. So if you want to spread your music, you don't have the possibility to do otherwise. So that's why I decided to put half of my album on the digital platforms, because it helps me reaching other people and new people, but I don't want to put the whole album on the platform, because if you want to listen to a whole album, it's better to support the musicians, and these platforms are not. Question number 16. What would you pick between warn Vercingetorix to not get stuck in Elysia, or stop the destruction of the Druidic Center on Anglesey? I would say warn Vercingetorix, because as a Frenchie, it would have stronger impacts maybe on my life, or at least the history of my country. So yeah, I would say that. Number 17. What would you take with you to a desert island? If people are an option, I would say my girlfriend. If people are not, I would say obviously my hurdy or my harp, or maybe my Nintendo Switch. And last question. Did you think about working again on your old projects like Wordsmith or Release the Clouds with your new skills and readapt them to your new style? In 2008, I started recording with very bad gears and devices, some kind of gothic metal and symphonic metal music. That was a solo project, and it was called Wordsmith. I stopped for 2 or 3 years, and then when I got new material and better sound quality, I started a new project again, but I didn't want to keep the name Wordsmith, and the second project was called Release the Clouds. But I'm not sure I would one day readapt it. That would be a fun thing to do. But the subjects and the lyrics and the topics was all about something that is from the past. I mean, it wouldn't be adapted to my current state of mind and my current feelings. So yeah, that's all from the past. So I wouldn't readapt the songs that I made before, and it was, to be honest, it was poorly written and poorly composed. But why not, for the fun and for the exercise, why not one day took one song of Release the Clouds, for example, and readapt that and record again in my new style, and switch from gothic metal music to pagan folk, but just one track for the fun. That's all.